5 seconds
Does put on a
remaining.
lot of pressure early on, but later down the line, you
Yeah.
gotta be careful not to just deliver a nice little snack for Lifestealer to infest and heal up on.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of back and forth because if like Chen, most people felt like he got really heavily nerfed in the last patch in 7.20, but maybe getting a little bit of love back into the meta. I've seen him here or there, and his success has been mixed. So really interesting to see what Thunder Predator can pull off here. It does make their lanes, like you said, very strong. So Lifestealer, not a very good recovery hero. If Sven is going to be your support, yeah, he makes your laning stage stronger, but he doesn't really transition super well out of the laning phase until he gets, you know, some tanky items, maybe that Vlad's, maybe the Blink Dagger, but that's a Phoenix. So maybe this is a position 3 Sven. They're flexing it into the position 3.
Radiant team
Seems like that's a little bit more stable than the core Phoenix. It's like Phoenix does well enough with just levels. Like having items is nice and all, but you don't like the value gain is not as much as it would be on a Sven, for example. Either way, though, Thunder Predator.
Other hero that can hit the egg pretty reliably. They don't have that
10
great of
seconds
lockdown.
remaining.
You can disjoint the Sven stun. You can
5
waveform
seconds
away
remaining.
from the Inkswell. Lots of good spells to steal as well. You can pretty much morph into any of these team odd heroes and be pretty happy. I don't really see like the burst damage potential from odd, like unless they manage to kill him in this Sven stun. It's
yeah. Just imagine morphing into Lifestealer, and then all of a sudden you have a raged up, or like you have a free BKB, and you have like a bit of red water chasing you down and killing you off or whatever in the middle of a team fight. It's not exactly ideal. So pretty good pick for Thunder Predator.
10 seconds
and
remaining.
is that enough though to deal with the Phoenix, or do you want to pick up another one that has a bit of extra attack speed right here?
I mean, you could arguably. I mean,
it's not much
I was
for the
thinking
off-lane,
maybe.
right?
Yeah, you need something for the off lane, right? Unless you run the tiny there. So I almost feel like is Centaur still in the pool? You could grab a Centaur and just look to disengage away from the egg if that's your play, but they're going to go for a Legion Commander.
That also works. I mean, press the attack, purging away these spirit stacks or whatever.
Yeah, the Fire Spirits.
Yeah,
it's an interesting way to deal with it. Once you hit level 25, you can get the AoE as well. So your whole team's hitting faster. And I actually really like Legion when paired up with an OD, because all Legion's job really becomes is I'm going to lock somebody down. I don't necessarily have to kill them. You know, if I kill the Grimstroke in the late game, that's cool. But you also have that really nice attack speed buff for the OD, who does struggle with that even going into the late game. So I do like this as a pairing. I'm just not 100% sure about her as a hero right now in the meta.
Especially when it comes to a Lifestealer matchup, because Lifestealer with this inbuilt sustain that he has, he tends to do it really well, especially against other melee heroes in the lane. So, yeah, interesting to see how that particular matchup ends up going, and how much a Chen and a Tiny can actually do, to help out these lanes in general.
Yeah, I'm really curious how
kind of hero they want to pick up. They waited until the last second to go for the Visage.
So this is something that's going to win the lane against the OD, I think. He's like I said, he's already got that really bad attack speed. He's going to have to close the distance in the early game to get the Astral off, but I don't know, actually. This is interesting. I haven't seen this matchup a whole lot, so I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like it's Visage favored, especially once he hits 6. So we might have to see some Chen rotations in or some Tiny rotations in and gank on that Visage to keep him down.
Yeah, in general, that's normally the way that Visage lanes go. Once you're level 6, you have this big power spike. And then at that point, you also or at the latest, once you get like your first item, your straight up Helm of the Dominator or something like that. And then you can just start running around, beat that down mid if you want to, or just start droping, beat down one of the side lanes with the rest of your team. So it turns us into a bit of a tempo draft. There could be some cheeky things happening with the lifesteal investing into one of the birds. A bit of a surprise package if they want to be fancy like that.
Yeah,
But,
the one thing I do really like about this Visage pick is, like you said, it does put them on that timer, but it enables that timer really nicely. Like, you don't really want to scale late game against an OD and a Morphling and a Legion. Like, that Legion's going to infinitely scale. The Morphling is going to start just, like, being very elusive, hard to deal with, and hit really hard. The OD is going to start shredding your team. So I really like this kind of, okay, we don't want to go late game against them. Let's pick this hero that allows us to just run down their lanes.
well, we'll see if they can do it up against Thunder Predator, who still are technically the favorites coming into this matchup, being directly invited here because I believe they placed 4th in the major qualifiers overall. And Team Odd, they came in through the open qualifiers, where they also left a mark though. I believe they did beat out SG Esports, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds right.
Oh no, that was the other team. They beat out Gorilla's Pride.
Oh, okay.
And some other unknown, or at least unknown to me, teams as well. So we'll see what they can do here. Again, you do have this second chance. This is a double elimination bracket, but well, it's still just very few games of Dota.
Yeah, you still want to secure whatever you can. And I really, I really find this this new meta from Position 4 is really interesting. This boots first, like the return of the boots first support. He's actually gotten a pooled tango from his Legion commander, and then grabbed the ward and the clarities so he can run around. And I'm interested to see if he goes for the level 1 toss play onto his OD or perhaps his Chen.
Not sure how I feel about that, honestly. I mean...
Oh, smoke's gonna pop. Does not get his ward down.
The ward's being dropped, though, for the Radiant side. Chen does have a sentry, so in case they want to... If they felt like, oh yeah, they'll probably put one down themselves, then they can maybe sneak that out in the mid lane.
Yeah. So it looks like they're actually going to run, for Odd, they're going to run the aggressive tri-lane. They're going to put the Grimstroke and the Phoenix up top. They might run the Phoenix down bottom, but I actually think you're better off just letting the Lifestealer be down bottom by himself, get the levels advantage against that Legion, and put as much pressure on this Morphling as you can, because Phoenix isn't really going to do a whole lot in this bottom lane.
Yeah.
He's going to get maybe Fire Spirits level 1, and he's going to slow them down. And that's pretty much it. Whereas up top, you can put a lot of pressure on this Morphling in those early levels before he gets more points into his shift.
Yeah.
The battle begins.
We'll see how they end up deciding and shifting things around. For now, it's going to be a 2-for-2 bound to an exchange. Nothing crazy there. No deep dives or anything. Right now, yeah, Atun is also going to get some help. As Prado's making his way up top, even with the teleport scroll, because he didn't feel like walking anymore, you know.
He's got to give the Beast of Obelisk a little break, you know.
Yeah. Got to make sure to not get an angry letter from Peter or something.
Yeah. So Phoenix does actually make his way down bottom. They're gonna run. Both teams are gonna run dual lanes, and I'm really interested to see how this works out. I think the Phoenix would be better off up top, but I do like putting the Morphling up against the Grimstroke up against the Morphling for the burst potential of the Stroke of Fate. It is very good in the laning phase.
Yeah. Oh, Matthew already on the case, blocking cams, dragon creeps around. Being super effective here, so that's not something that the Phoenix can deal with at the best of times, let alone a tiny with boots. They can always just run away from you. So it's gonna be some free experience. Up in the top lane, the same thing has been prevented as Prado's hanging around.
Yeah, just blocking the hard camp is Schofield. He just doesn't have a ward, so he just walks into the camp. Just make sure that Chen can't just grab whatever creep he wants.
That does leave us with mid lane, and so far actually Dragon, look at this guy, 9-6 to the 1-0 of J-Mari. This seems pretty devastating. I mean, I know we said that Visage tends to do not so good at the first levels, but then he catches back up. But This seems like it's a little bit too much right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's just such a huge base damage advantage for the OD, and he can play much more aggressively into the lane because of the Astral. He just like that. He walks up, gets the deny, gets the CS, and there's not really too much this Visage can do. And if he, I mean, he's also just slow. 286 to the 314 of the OD means that he can just the OD can run in and out of the lane very quickly. This is a very tough lane for this Visage.
Doesn't help that he got a Ring Basilius instead of the more common Talisman, so yeah, he just doesn't have the damage to really contend with this.
Yeah.
And they're gonna need to fix that soon, though, aren't they? But in fact, the opposite is happening. Matthew picked himself up an Invis Rune, is level 2, might be able to get a kill here.
Yeah, he's got the Avalanche and the Toss, so they can set up pretty easily here. The creeps are coming into tower. Astral's up in a few seconds, so if you just wait for the Astral, you set up with Astral. Tiny comes in with the Toss, and then you Avalanche to secure he can't get back under his tower. Very, very effective gank, and there's not really a whole lot of response support on the side of Odd, right? These supports are very good, and, well, Grimstroke is very good in the laning phase. Phoenix doesn't really do a whole lot until those mid-game team fights. And neither of them are very good response heroes, right? What are you going to do on a Grimstroke? You're going to TP in and Inkswell, I guess? There's just not a whole lot they can really do about this aggressive play.
Inkswell also only works if you don't die before it actually goes off.
I didn't want to say it.
Worth considering, yeah. And especially when you're dealing with ranged heroes, like it's decent against melee heroes because they can't chase you without being stunned up necessarily. But ranged heroes, they can just stay away from it and still hit you more often than not.
Double null already up on this OD as well. That's really rough.
Team's ready to go. I don't think Odd has scouted this movement out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Dive the tower with the creeps dying. But if J-Mari doesn't know, then he's gonna play aggressively. There it is. Draken goes in with the imprisonment.
Uses the illusions to take the tower. Oh, it's so good.
To toss back into the avalanche. J-Mari, he's just dead. And yeah, Schofield, Inkswell. We've just been talking about that, haven't we?
Yep. There's just no counterplay options. There's just nothing you can really do. The support duo, they're strong in their respective lanes. Like, yeah, the Phoenix is doing a surprisingly good job of zoning out this Legion commander for the most part, but in terms of response potential, not there.
At least Schofield got to the absolute lane for a few seconds. With extra experience and gold for 1 or 2 last hits or whatever. But right back up to the studios up top, interrupting this pull through.
God, look at this CS, 23 and 11 for the OD to the 7 and 0 on J-Mari. That is...
I'm not sure I want to think about that anymore. Esprada though, he's dropping very low. He's getting in some support. Recalling Matthew, and means that Odd will have to get the hell out of here. Schofield didn't remember though. Another toss up, couple right clicks, and they just click him to death.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Odd. They have the lineup that requires they be ahead, be setting the tempo, and when you start losing lanes like this, it's recoverable. They have a very strong mid-game team fight, so the game's not going to be over if they lose the laning phase. It's just going to be much harder than they'd prefer. If this Morphling gets off to a good start, if this OD keeps on the path that he's going, it's going to be tough recovery. His mid lane again, haste rune on Tiny.
In, there's a combo, one more click will do it. Here, a couple of salves. 3 different sounds there as they turn this round with the Inkswell. This time Axel bringing it to the front, but Fairy keeps Draken alive. He can toss him back to get the kill. Nice little dodge there on the stroke of fate. Draken will be fine. I mean, so will J-Mari, but he can't approach the lane now with only 200 health.
Yeah, and I mean, that was actually a really nice play. Using the Inkswell and then diving in aggressively to secure the stun on the OD. They actually almost got him, but that's their only real response is when both supports rotate off. And you can see already down bottom, Legion's going to take this as a free moment of experience, you know, Morphling is feeling very comfortable in this lane now. The Chen doesn't really need to be there if he doesn't have to be. So freeing up the supports on Thunder Predator is a much bigger priority than, you know, having the Grimstroke and the Phoenix rotate around.
Yeah. Because Draken is already doing well. Like, if he can draw this aggro away from the other lanes, yeah, it's as you said. I mean, look at this. Frankie's stacking up 2 different Radiant creep waves, farming it behind the tier 1 tower. He's no cares in the world right now. And that these supports have fired Thunder, I guess. And they're still being kept here. Matthew just doing such a good job continuously putting on even more pressure on this mid lane.
Yeah, this boots first Tiny, man. It's really good. He's getting recalled top though. They're gonna make a move on Sword.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
A compromising position there, but I might want to go for Schofield instead. There's the Avalanche as it toss up, wait for him in. Couple of things alive though to stun, but it's not enough. Toon still gets that for himself. Much more realistic kill at any given time, is it?
Under attack.
Yeah, it looked like they were setting up on Sword because of how deep he was playing in the jungle, but by the time Matthew shows up, alright, Grimstroke's nearby, we'll just kill him instead.
So much more safe, but like it feels like Sven is one of these heroes where we start building up a psychological block against wanting to go for him in the first place. Right? Because you probably play a lot against him in your pubs, and then you try and go for him, but then he presses D and runs away and never dies. So you just don't even try at some point. And the result is that he's getting actually a decent amount of last hits in this off lane. It's almost like a second 1 position here. And there's interception. Matthew with a toss back. It's going to be enough here, but there's the Warcry. Stroke of Fate slowing down. It's actually turning Serrano. Thought about it anyway with the Inkswell slowing him down, but now Axel coming in. Another stun over on the Morphling. As they, okay, Matthew clicks the courier one. Stroke of Fate slowing him down. On top of him here, bottle charges. Keep him safe for now. Fire Courier also gets a bit of a loft tap from Schofield, and no casualties in this particular engagement.
Yeah. Mid lane though, oh man. Grave Chill's starting to stack up in levels, so it's on a shorter and shorter cooldown. And that is making this lane a little bit easier for Jamari, but still having a rough time.
Meanwhile in bottom, Lifestealer doing Lifestealer things. Straight up Midas. Face boots queued up. Is this a Radiance game, or do you just want to go for a move?
I don't think you can go Radiance. Like, it is, I think, the more popular build, but I worry about the timing that it puts you on, right? Radiance is usually more for those kind of late game engagements that you want to tank, build yourself up to be this big tanky monster. I feel like you, with... I mean, he did go for the Midas, though. So maybe they are looking... They're saying, okay, you know, Jamari's not had the start that we want. We can scale up a little bit. He could still go for it. It's tough to call.
Under attack.
Gonna have to keep an eye on it. He's doing well enough against, again, this is a 1v1 matchup up against melee hero. Even though Legion Commander has their own bit of lifesteal, of course, it's his name, right? He's gonna be better at it.
Are fortified.
Yeah, very easy to
he invented this stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Matthew second round right now. Can always be recalled up top, but he cannot be recalled mid, but that's why he goes on the TP. Schofield playing very aggressively here, now with Axel in the back. Actually going for Draken here, another TP through, but Draken already taking so much damage. Courtesy of Jamari and his ultimate. Schofield's just not quite dying to that nuke, but still not out of the woods just yet. He has to run.
He's got another toss. Can they get the vision?
I think Frank should just be able to keep on top of them. Oh, there it is. Toss into right click. Into duel.
Oh, he gets the duel.
That's a free plus 10 damage. 1 for 2 exchange. As Axel also went down. Invisibility. But this time, Draken, that's certainly much needed kill to get here.
Yeah, that's it. That was a huge kill, and you can see the go trigger, right? As soon as he used the Astral offensively, I think he used it on the creep wave, they went, okay, just go. Just go on him right now. And yeah, they lose 2, but Jamari lived through that whole thing, I believe. Yeah, Jamari lived, and that's really all you worry about. Yeah, you lost your 2 supports. Who cares? They're their team fights anyway.
So we saw the damage come in. I mean, part of it was from Axel here, level 2 fire spirit, pretty decent. But a lot of it came from the Visage. You got level 6, got level 7, you got a medallion. You got Grave Chill to give you the attack speed. People just start to melt. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I really like this this shift over he made as well, this adjustment where he did have the Helm of Dom queued up, which is the more traditional build, but thinking to himself, you know what, we just need to be able to kill the OD. OD's cut, you know, decent amount of armor, 8 armor, so let's cut through that a little bit, make it a little easier to kill him. Then now I can double back and start building out towards that Helm of Dom for our pushes.
So let's talk about the Morphling a little bit, because he's been under considerably more pressure than the Lifestealer, and that does reflect in net worth right now. Sitting at only 3.8k right now.
Dire's top tower
Can he catch up? Is it still an okay spot for him to be in, or do we have to start to worry?
Are fortified.
I think he's okay, mostly because the OD did have a really good start. I think you only have to start getting worried if they shift their priority towards that OD and the Morphling isn't recovering on top of that. If they keep both of those heroes down, then that's where you start, I think, having to worry. But for now, he's like, it's all right. My OD is going to start making space for me in the mid game. You know, those early team fights are going to be very big for us. And Legion is almost at her blink dagger, I believe. Yeah, so 1900 for her. Once that blink comes out, we're in a much different spot.
Secret Agent Matthew smoked up. Around, sees Schofield, does the avalanche, towards Chen. There it is, Atun can go for another kill. We've seen this dance before, but this time there's double stun coming through, courtesy of the Grimstroke ultimate. And that together with the Warcry will be enough to send them packing. But Sword, he's doing so much damage, needs to be stunned up. Matthew trying to dodge these spells, but he can't. That tree has not been cut down, there was no escape. And what was meant to be a quick pickup for Thunder Predator means that they just freaking lost the hero.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of Grimstroke, man. As soon as that ulti is online, you just start winning little engagements and little engagements. Eventually it'll be those full team fights, and the hero is just ridiculous. The fact that you just double up everything, like, I can't get over it still.
Tower goes down as a result. Atun making that normal move of going to the other side of the map, trying to match them. We have a couple of extra catapults here to help them do that, but well, top lane is something better than catapults. Familiars kind of chunk away together to Sven.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Lifestealer is actually going to be going for the Radiance build. He has made up his mind and decided, you know, I'm having a good enough time. He is top of net worth. I'm having a good enough time. They can't really pressure me, so I'm just gonna take the Radiance build. Why not?
Yeah, if you can get away with it, like it's not like it's terrible, because Lifesteal is one of these heroes that's decently tanky, right? You can stay alive in these fights for a long time, at least in theory, which means that you're gonna do a lot of compound damage over time with this Radiance sitting around. Not to mention it helps you farm even faster.
Yeah, it's also nice against the OD, because OD doesn't really want to buy anything that gives him True Strike.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to buy an MKB, really doesn't want a Bloodthorn, so he doesn't really have a great way to pierce through that mischance that the Radiance does give you. The BKB will help, but that's going to be a while off.
This certainly looks like a BKB game though, regardless. Sven stuns, you need to dodge that. All of this Phoenix damage will also start stacking up eventually.
Yeah. And speaking of the Phoenix, he's moving right into the urn, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him go right for the Spirit Vessel after that, which is a really, really good counter against this Morphling. Morph's going to have to get himself an early Manta Style or an early BKB to be able to deal with this, what looks like decently timed Spirit Vessel on this Phoenix.
Looks like odd to leverage the tempo drops a little bit here. A bit of a smoke up. Almost all 5 heroes around this middle lane.
They just need 6 on Phoenix. That's the big thing holding them back right now. They gave the tome right to the Grimstroke, so he could get his ulti. Now, as soon as that Phoenix can get the egg, that's where they really start kicking up that tempo.
Yeah. Looking to try and chase him away here out of this bottom lane. He doesn't care though, by the looks of it. Not as much as he maybe should. But there's no way to kill him, so it's like...
Yeah. They see the Lifestealer up top. They see the Sven mid. They knew that he was it was just a 2 support.
Oh, the heals come out, Prada, barely keeping him alive. You can already see the danger that this Lifestealer can pose. I mean, just with phase boots, even without them activated, he's sitting at 380 movement speed. With them activated, it's 450. So good luck running away from that.
Yeah, very, very speedy boy. And I mean, OD's actually maybe still slower. It's 373. Come on, kick in. Okay, so yeah, when he has the phase boost active, Lifestealer can't chase down the OD, which is the big worry, right? You need to be able to catch that OD. You need to be able to make sure that he can't just disengage from you.
Still 4 stuff to worry about. Potentially defensive Astronaut to just wait out that rage situation, potentially. Which, it's like the bread and butter of a Lifestealer. Like, if you cannot engage with the rage, you're gonna have issues. But now it's rules. Now Help Silence comes in, but he's already coughing, so no big deal. He uses Soul Binds, no one to link it up with, and there's an extra Lifestealer now. There's a Rage. Sword looking for the body block. Really wants to commit for the small fling here. Gonna start to turn this around. Fall up with the hammer. It's just too tanky.
Yeah, the morph into the Lifestealer is just. I mean, we talked about it in the draft, right? It's a free BKB. It's a free way to just get away from that combo.
Supernova goes in. Dragon pops his own ultimate. Not really doing too much, but imprisonment into just straight up right clicks. Level 1 Supernova. You can't deal with that very easily with 2 different heroes, but now Sounds 1 Dragon forced stuff away. Let's get rid of the bug. Matthew offering up his own life for the cause, but they didn't want that offering at all. Didn't feel comfortable going high ground.
Yeah. Level 1 egg is very, very weak. It's only 5 hits, and so you just imprison the Sven so he can't check out his stun. Very easy to just focus down.
What is going on with Midas Gaming again? Thought we had passed this like a year ago or so. A long, long time, but now I look at this item overview and I see 4 different Midas, 2 for each team. Because Legion and Sven picked one up as well, on top of Lifestealer and OD.
I mean, the pace of the game slowed down a lot, right? They nerfed the early gold on a lot of things. They changed how experience works. So between that and the buff to the attack speed last patch, it's a very cost-effective item. You don't really. It still has that kind of timing window on it where it takes about 15, 16 minutes to really pay itself off and start actually making you money. But I really think the big change is the experience, right? You still get that 2x experience, and it lets you cross that 6 to 12 nerf that they introduced a little easier.
Good old press the attack on the Chen catapult.
The Divine Favor is so cool.
It's actually going in with the duel on the Sven. I think I have no damage to what the hell's going on. Now the Soul Bind, double silence, and double stun. Sword has to walk away. Last couple right kicks from Prada. Not gonna be enough. Now the full appeal on everybody. They're trying to make their way out. It looks like they might just be able to most of the heroes. Matthew being gone on, netted up, 4-staffed away. Draken helped his friends, another avalanche. Keep the rest of Team on at bay.
Yeah, that is a pretty good fight for Thunder Predator, though. Like, OD was farming in the meantime. Morphling showed up, which kind of sucks, but OD was enjoying the space. He showed up at the end just to make sure everything was okay, but they committed a lot there from Odd.
Yeah. Soulbind, not the shortest cooldown in the world, so keep an eye on that. But they still have the Supernova to work with. And still keeping control. Like with this team fight, even though like no casualties on either side, it still pushed Thunder Predator away from this Radiant side jungle at least. So.
And they've denied this bottom T1 now, which before wasn't really that great, but actually is kind of important now because it's the tower that gives you access into the Ancients, right? Both of the Ancients on either side are near these offlane towers, and those are the only ones on the map. So this offlane T1 tower, you can see both teams trying to defend it to make sure that those Ancients are safe.
He's just been completed. Axel has a lifesteal inside of it. The Science comes in. He's not morphing, is he? Oh, now he is. Well, they're gonna settle for Matthew. And maybe more. The Science actually goes onto Prada, and the Radiant's starting to burn away. The poor Chen just ignoring him, now looking for the bigger piece of the pie. Draken slowed down, defensive imprisonment, but there's 5 people around him. There's no way he survives this one. Double kill for Control X and Control V. Lifestealer player, not sure who's hanging out that honestly. Is that Axel? Nah. Is that Kotaro?
I think it's
Either way, this is their timing kicking in, isn't it?
yeah, I mean that's the team fight, right? Those mid-game team fights are where they were shining. You know, it was looking a little rough for the Visage, but as soon as he hit level 6, they started putting the pressure on the OD, focusing him down, and you know, if Morphling had been on the other side of the map farming during that whole engagement, it could have been okay, but the only reason Morphling didn't die there was just because he had better escapes. He had the cover from the Tiny as well as the waveform. They couldn't catch him, so they shot down the OD. And they get a tower off of it.
It's some of these kind of games, unless the Morphling is like super stacked, it's more than enough to kill the rest of his team. Like, you don't necessarily have to kill the Morphling unless he's in a position where he can just start sniping people with a shotgun. As fun as that sounds.
the stun actually hit Prada there in the bottom lane. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. That was nice to see that. And it's also really good when gone on Prada. It's a bit of help there from Frank, but he's just way too powerful.
Yeah, now he's got the Yasha. Is he going SNY or Manta? Doesn't really have anything to worry about, so I think he just goes SNY here. Just be nice and tanky. They don't really have great silences or anything that you need to dispel.
It's also one of these items that traditionally fits very well into this 20 to 30 minutes timing window.
Yeah, and they're just moving around the map, taking all the T1s, T2s. They are going to finally lose this top tower, but it might get denied. No, not quite.
Schofield tried, you popped this whole combo there. Just the bird supporting. Not sure if that was worth it. I guess they can fall off Billion. They have a lot of control, but not Draken with a BKB. He says enough is enough. He just popped the hammer, Jamari with the banishment to keep him from TPing out. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a team fight on the other side. They killed the Lifestealer. No, another stun onto Axel. He's down too. Things are just falling apart. All of a sudden, Jamaro, yeah, he was.
They got the duel.
He was not going to make his way out of that.
They got the duel on the Lifestealer.
Oh no.
That's what it was. I don't know if he got the win or not. It doesn't look like he did.
Still only has +10 for the only one.
Yeah, but it was enough to get the kill, and that's all you need, right? Yeah. With the Morphling beating on you the whole time. So Thunder Predator picking up 2 wins across the map, 3 kills total, or 4 kills total actually, because the Gripstroke died.
Radiant's middle
It was
tower
the exact opposite of what Team Odd was drafted for. Like, you were talking about the team fight, about how powerful they are. I mean, we see the combo up top. If there was any sort of follow-up with the Grimstroke, double silence, and everything, they just die. But instead, the actual damage-dealing cores were on the other side of the map, engaging in the other little skirmish, and none of these equations add up. Or at least not add up in a way that Team R wanted.
Yeah, the BKB on the OD was huge too. Just being able to turn around, drop that. It is the 10-second BKB, but you pick up a core and a support kill for it. I think that's worth it. And now you can see Tiny's pinging out the Roche. They want to secure this bottom tower, and then actually no, that's odd. Yeah, so they're thinking about Roche on the side of Thunder Predator.
T2 bottom is dead. Chunked away at earlier, nibbled away at the catapults and whatnot. Just creeps and morphling illusions. So we're starting to equalize this, well, they did equalize the tower differential as well.
Yeah, 2 towers each. Bottom T1 or bottom T2 for Thunder Predator is looking a little beat up, not having a great time, but all you really need to do is prevent that 5-man from coming together. You can take small skirmishes, right? That's where Legion's really good. You know, and you have the tiny support. You have the damage-dealing cores that can play separate from each other, but when that 5-man comes together for Odd, that's where you just can't take that 5-on-5 engagement.
Alright, so Odd, I guess they're trying to secure this Roche area. Don't really see anyone on the side of Thunder right now, which is good for them. They're all spread out across the map. They're very efficient with their farming patterns, or their farming routines. But that does also mean that they're not in a position they can deal with this Roche. Dies very, very fast. Lance Armor and the light switch on the way.
They do scan, but I don't think they can contest, so they're just going to ping out. They're going to make a mass move in toward bottom. Odds not here.
Any damage though. Good move. Just, it's interesting to see these micro timings. Like if the Thunder, maybe if they figured this out a few seconds earlier, they could have actually done a little bit of damage to tier 3. As it stands, they had to leave because the TPs were already coming in by the time they got up there.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, just game of inches. Dota 2 is.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it is. Well, he is in the hands of the Lifestealer, so momentum-wise, they should be getting back on track with that. And
He's actually he went for the Manta. This is really interesting to be like. There's not a whole lot to really like dispel. I'm curious why he didn't just go for something like the SNY.
Who knows? Looked to confuse the Legion a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it might also be to maybe like alleviate the split push pressure, like drop a Radiance. Oh, hey, look at that illusion. Drop illusions in the side lanes. Try and keep those pushed out so that you can focus on that one lane. You want that big 5-man ball to come together, and already you can see bot lane. Prada's very happy, just whacking away at this. Sven's gonna have to TP back, delaying this push.
That's the thing. It's one of these ways that you can deal with this 5-man by just threatening high ground or threatening with the split push and forcing them to deal with it. Yeah, we've seen it. Like they've taken over die jungle, but they haven't really been able to put a push together because of that, because they have to split up. And especially in a time where they want to make use of that Radiance, it's all just very valuable for Thunder to just try and wait it out.
Yeah, Thunder knows they have the better late game. They know they have the better scaling cores. As you see the Scotty now in the Morphling, he's moving into the Butterfly. OD's got that BKB, he's moving towards the Shiva, so they know they can scale up. It's just a question of getting there. And this Roche timing is huge, right? They have to arguably get at least a tier 3, preferably a lane of racks off of this, otherwise Thunder Predator's going to start just outscaling them. As there's a gem on the Tiny, so the map control is going to be huge too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Change different chunk to the tier 2. Bottom lane being defended by a Helm creep.
Prada, I don't think, has left this like little quadrant on the map, just like just down in these trees, walks up to the T3. And just this little section. He hasn't left that box in like 10 minutes.
Don't have heat maps, unfortunately, so we can't confirm, but it seems pretty likely. Platoon also hanging around, probably thinking about TPing out here now that we see Team Odd coming in, but instead Prada brings in Frank.
I like this recognition from Odd though. They say, okay, if they're just gonna split us, we just push down bottom because that's our exposed lane of barracks. If they're gonna split us, let's make them split towards our tier 2s, and then we can just push faster than they do. Morphling's not that scary. He doesn't hit buildings that fast just yet. We have a Visage. We can just shred buildings. Let's go down bottom, take this tier 2, and I really like this call from them.
Yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Thunder trying to... I mean, they're doing what they have to do, is bring these other lanes, as you said, but... I mean, like the lanes were not quite in position to do that immediately, so now they're gonna actually have to deal with Team Odd going high ground themselves and staging up. They use Sven ultimate. This tower is already dead, and there's no glyph to stop it. It's just... They just saw an opportunity, and they were like, yeah, sure, let's take it. Then it opens up the shrines.
Really safe, measured play too. That Aegis is going to be expiring in the next minute or so.
Yeah.
So rather than risking maybe that expiring at an odd minute, they say, okay, we've got the T3, we can take the map control, we can secure the shrines, set really aggressive vision, try and catch them split pushing, and if we get a favorable fight, we can rush high ground. Until then, let's farm the map, build an XP advantage. It doesn't matter if they scale better than us if we just stop them from scaling.
Yeah. Last few minutes, it suddenly seemed like Thunder was slowing down a little bit. Like they're playing very defensively instead of being proactive and trying to make things happen on their own.
And there's that Aegis timer. So good call from Odd to back out then. If they'd have taken a engagement. Oh, they find
now they're on the bounty rune with the rage up live stealer, but Blade Mail does so much work. They are not gonna win the duel, but they're gonna get this kill. But now, turn around, not really. Matthew is there to intercept. Schofield is down as well. Thunder.
Oh, the tip.
The entire force on this high ground at the perfect time, and they found the perfect hero to pick off.
Yeah, they dropped the scan on the shrine, the rune, so they knew when he went for it. Just blind blink in from the Legion, trusting that he's going to be going for that rune timing, and the Morphling there to back him up, even through the rage. It wasn't enough.
Immediately using their own timing window that they've created on the back of that. 2 heroes down, so he can.
He doesn't have buyback.
Back. That either. Not sure if they're gonna actually go high ground with this. This would be a bit crazy, but.
They might just to they've got double cart. They've got the Legion and the Chen to buff up those creeps too.
And Chen can also bring in people that came and deal with Splitters. Like he's bringing Matthew back right now. That recall used to be on the Cardinal. Super freaking useful in these kind of situations. Now another blink into the duel. They take the Phoenix and knock him down. And now Sword need to kite him around. Stun coming through. And, well, poor Frank is kind of being left alone to his own devices. Pops the BKB, trying to make his way out. Blink forward into another swipe to deal with him. But, well, if that's the only casualty, that's fine. But Draken, no! The TP interrupted by the birds! BKB comes through, but that's another second shaved off for no reason.
Oh, man, that's 80 seconds, no buyback on the OD. They might look to just shove this down. They don't know he doesn't have buyback. But actually, they might, because he just finished his Hurricane Pike, so they might take a guess and say, you just finished an item. You might not have buyback. We've been farming this map pretty well. If they go for the high
figured out, but Matthew, ooh. I think he was looking to skip the creeps, but missed the timing, was also gonna be chased down, so gonna have a creep coming into mid.
Yeah, they're going for it. They say, we want to force your buyback, even if you do have it, but he doesn't, so this is just going to be a lane. They cannot fight without that OD.
SA Dota, this back and forth. You never know who's going to win until they do. Now the first set of racks actually going to go the way of Odd by the looks of it. I mean, it's going down, but now Toon with the rage coming in, but it's doing literally no damage because of the Warcry.
Yep.
They're looking for home. Misses that blink just by
the Glimmer Cape.
But yeah, looks like they're slowing him down long enough. Another duel. Another win. That's a lot of damage at this point. Plus 26. Still losing the signs. And next Roshan, 2 minutes. Still a while out.
But I mean, now you have this big tempo on your side. You've got the first racks. That's what they needed, right? They needed to make sure they secure a lane of barracks against Thunder, man. It's now less gold coming in, a wave that's constantly getting pressured, and it's the short lane. It's mid. It's like the best lane that you can possibly take.
Well, can they repeat that? I mean, gonna have all the heroes, they have all the ultimates. Fresh
yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a Phoenix egg.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Either that they didn't need it, or they couldn't get it off because Axel was initiated on or locked down somehow.
It feels like it's been a lot of not needing it. Ooh, the Orchid on the Sven. I like this pickup. Does Morphling... Morphling doesn't have any defensive items. He doesn't have a BKB. He doesn't have a Manta. So this reveal, do they have a smoke on this? They do. Okay, so and they have a gem to clear it. This could be a huge reveal if they manage to find the Morphling with the smoke up here.
The aggressive vision they have, that in mind, what's just about to expire on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
But they have to go on a bit of a fishing expedition if they want to target the Morphling. He's going for the BKB only now. Picked up the MKB earlier to deal with the Radiance and the evasion talent as well. Let's not forget about that on Lifestealer. Need just on 2 strike up against that. Prada. I gotta find him here.
That's a very dead Chen. Don't know if he would have revealed the... Oh, that he's under a ward. Okay, so they do see the Orchid. Morphling does know it's there. He's going to have the opportunity to play around that at least a little bit. But...
Did they see it? Or did they only see it?
Did you just say did they see it, or did they only see it?
Or did they just see it? I mean, the boss on the vision doesn't mean that they necessarily click the hero.
That's fair. Okay, I understand what you're saying now. It's very confusingly worded. I mean, did they see it or did they see it?
I could have.
I get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down now.
Could have probably said a little bit better, but yeah, it's these kind of things, you know. For now, sword with a care package inside, you know, in case you like live on having a life stealer munching your face off.
Well, looks like they are going to get that smoke out. They're going to try and find this Morphling. The pings are coming out actually on the high ground, which is where the OD is. No, they've changed their mind.
I saw Matthew showing up top, but oh no, they're going to run straight into the Morphling. There's the stun, there's the silence. He's already morphing, isn't he? But that's way too much damage. It doesn't even matter.
There's a hex on the visage too. I didn't even notice that.
So much control, so much damage to go along with it.
He doesn't have buyback either.
It's a yikes.
They shouldn't know he doesn't have buyback because it's very close and he hasn't like bought a big item recently or anything. But
quick, someone kill a tier 3
Visage
tower.
is splitting bottom.
Actually going for a tier 3 tower. They're gonna have enough money for the buyback if they get something, right?
Are fortified.
Calls either way. Gonna lose from Sharon off.
Yeah, and Visage is gonna take that bottom Rax. Look at the birds.
Yeah, that's the range Rax now. What's happening? Grimstroke gonna end up dying somewhere. There's Thunder, then out walking out. There's a stun. Goodbye, Sven. Matthews not wrong for the world either. If they can keep this blink on cooldown, no, they cannot. Forks off across the ridge. Radiance out of range. Damn, what the hell is going on there?
That was
three different things happening at once, right?
Really good movement across the map from Jamari there. Recognizing that they have enough damage at this point with the AC and the Sven. We don't really need the birds to take down Roche. He sends the bottom, he splits their focus so that OD has to TP back and defend rather than maybe taking an engagement. They do get that tier 3. So they do secure Morphling his buyback. Actually, they don't. I lied. He's still about 400 gold short.
I think
but
something, right?
I think that's just the new death cost.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like, you have a new death cost spawn, so. But still. You lose another barracks. Mid, you do still hold on to your range Rex there, so it's a full lane between the two, but not in the same lane, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
You do lose Aegis cheats.
Well, things are looking a bit dicey here, to say the least.
Yeah. And Grimstroke is heading for his own sheepstick, so that is going to be a lot of control. That's going to be 3 hexes going off in a fight if he manages to get it on somebody that has been soulbound. I mean, I just don't know.
Then just straight up pop the God Strength here with life steal inside, hoping for someone to push out his top lane, but I guess they didn't find that.
It's fine though, they're just pushing down top lane now. Like, he's going in alone. Like, his team's not even anywhere nearby, but he's just like, screw it, I don't care.
I mean, he has Aegis, he has Manta, he has Linken's AC, like, he doesn't care. He's not gonna die anytime soon. Like, there's no Alpha Strike that Thunder Predator can actually put up yet, I think. It really worries him right now. So just chunks away the tower and daring them to go in. Rage to prevent the Avalanche to do anything. And something's being thrown out. Dragon actually forced off the way, and now the counter initiation. There's a duel over on the Visit, but he's pretty damn tanky. Not tanky enough. The hammer's being dropped. That's a duel win. The Supernova off to the side. Pretty good position. They can't actually deal with it. Ready for the stun over on Dragon, and now Lifestealer starting to chunk away. Tatur going back out of the imprisonment. Axel, okay, they're gonna focus on him. That should be a very easy kill. And now the entire support staff down for the count, including the Visage.
Oh, he didn't
do the toss back on the TP. What are you doing? You're gonna lose the Aegis for free. Probably his second life too. If they can get him. I'm assuming at this point, right? gonna take them a while though.
Very tanky.
Also healing up quite a bit. If he was right click.
She perched off with the attack. Yeah, not much you can really do there.
Smart.
He's very, very dead.
Chasing him here for a solid minute though.
Space created.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh my god, if he'd managed to live for another 3 seconds, he would have had Infest. He could have hopped in the siege creep and been.
Alright, so. No buybacks on? Oh, never mind. Dragon bought back on that. They lost the tier 3, didn't lose the racks. Got Aegis. Successful defense.
Yeah, I mean, you do lose the buyback on the OD, but other than that, I think it's a very decent defense. I didn't realize, actually, never mind.
Yeah.
Because you lost the bottom racks.
Something killed that, maybe the birds or whatever. Jamari's just
yeah, it had to be the birds, because I don't think they were in that fight.
There's beef with them, but easy we summon.
That is birds on cooldown for 2 minutes though, so if you can kill them again, that is a lot of damage that's not getting put on your towers or your heroes.
Schofield, a bit of trouble. It's gonna cost that much.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Well,
Kale.
Right? Just under who pause.
Oh, he's super dead. What's he got? Like 30 HP, 36 HP left? Yeah, he's.
Oh. You only need 1 HP to survive, right? No. Anyway. Yeah, he's dead despite the stun ray. Despite the stun. What are you saying?
Yeah, Sunray's helping him. What are you talking about? That's a healing Sunray. It's okay. I know what you were trying to say. There is no buyback on Lifestealer again, though. I don't know what he bought it bought out for, but that's probably a lane because Morphling's scary enough now that.
Radiant's middle barracks.
At this point, you can afford to give up 1
Radiant's
lane.
middle barracks are under attack.
I mean, you can afford it, but if you don't have to.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna feel confident to go for the second lane, most actually. Yeah. It's coming back soon. There's also Grimstroke buying back to make sure they can threaten that soul bind.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
Nice. What? They're just TPing in. They don't even care. And Draken slowed down instantly into the BKB TP. There's no bash or anything to slow him down. Atun turns into Sven, throws on the stun into wave from back, but Sword with the blink keeps on top of Morphling. That's the big prize if they can get him. Atun with his own BKB TP. A lot of resources committed, and look at this Frank. He's just doing Frank things.
That's a very short TP on Schofield. He's TP'd from the river to the shrine.
Sometimes you just click somewhere and it takes you somewhere else.
That is indeed how TPs work.
Yeah.
Proud of you for figuring that out, Dragon.
It took me a while, but I finally... I attended the class. I went to a university.
Okay.
For 2 years, and they had a course on that.
Was it Potham University or was that KP University?
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Just have to make sure, cover all my bases.
Gotcha. Ah, the Sven with the Bloodthorn on himself. Classic.
Just to make sure the Tiny doesn't go anywhere.
I just thought it was a cute play from the Tiny. I'm gonna Lotus Orb so that you can't stun me. That's fine, we're gonna just run you down anyway. Immediate smoke up, by the way, with the 3 of them. Lifestealer inside the Sven, and they just immediately draw a giant circle on Thunder Predators half the map.
Go, go, go! And Thunder, they're gonna be forced into taking 1 more fight on their own high ground that they might not even get started in the way that they want to. I mean, look at this, they're gonna go in, the taxing up the birds, but the initiation of the Draken on the half health, the Supernova in the middle. Frank TPing in, but has to run away, so all of this is covered to just backdoor the freaking raid tracks. God's strength, it's powerful. Too powerful maybe, but that was a blink, but no duel. Now the BKB completely wasted on Frank, now the initiation from Matthew to bring down the duel onto the feast. Only used ultimate though, they're gonna lose the... Gonna lose the dueler in turn. Atun now linked together with the hexed up OD. They're just trying to make their way out, but it's being chased They're going to be chasing until the ends of the earth. If they can even make it that way. Found a couple of buybacks down to Barefoot. Sword kind of dropping low. Lifestealer still up and about. And he's going to have to do a lot of work here. But Frank, a little bit too tanky. Atoon still chunking away. Almost max agility here. Jamari goes down. Buybacks from the Sven. Try and make his way back into the fight, but don't think he's going to get the chance. Not there's a toss back over on the Lifestealer. Rage available. Buy some more time. Get the TP out.
The damage?
Nothing to cancel that either. No abyssals. No nothing.
A lot of buybacks getting expended there, though.
Yeah, looked really good, but because especially with this initiation, instead we're hexing at the birds. So I had just clean through them, and then the smoke collapses on them. It's crazy. Sword, he's in this. Found himself an Invis rune.
I mean, if they find this pickoff onto the Morphling, he doesn't have BKB for 10 seconds.
They could do it with the kind of control that he has, right? No mind, BKB. Yeah, BKB was cooldown actually.
It was cooldown, yeah, it's up now, but could have been a huge pickoff.
Yeah.
Oh, they know. They see the Radiance burn on the Wolf, they know that somebody's nearby.
But did they see it?
Good at, no. Listen here.
Well, they certainly saw it go down, right? So.
Yeah, the Chen was paying very close attention. As soon as the Sven ran by, the Lifestealer inside, he saw the Radiance burn and started picking it out. So very good attention to detail there from Prada.
In this, my friends, is why turn off the Radiance.
Gonna be a nullifier soon on Lifestealer.
Morphling without Lincolns. He gets caught out like that again? Or like Dragon's been caught out. Either one of them. Like if you can't rely on your BKBs anymore to bail you out, like what can you do at that point?
Do they have a Lotus Orb? They do have the Lotus Orb on the Tiny, so maybe you look to reflect something back. It's hard though, because they just have so many hexes, right? Between the... Well, I guess they don't quite have
Roche, Matthew going in, but it's nobody inside except for the birds. DD on Lifestealer. Not sure if you want to actually fight this. But if it's...
They have their side lanes pushed in too. This is really tough because you're going to lose a lot of damage on base. They've got the illusions on the Lifestealer too. So that's going to help push in those waves. This is arguably a really free Roche for Odd.
It's an impossible situation for Thunder because they got to fight those Roche, but they're also going to defend their racks. Either way, they'll lose as Lifestealer chucking away at this Roche. At the BKB, but now that the BKB's come through, the stun's over, and the duel over on Sven. So he's being taken out, the egg in the middle, but clicked away by the entire team. Now Lifestealer without the rage, still trying to work on Roche. Team Odd, what have you done? Roche goes down, he snatched the Aegis. It's going to come right back, but at what cost, Forge?
They got the Megas.
Maybe the Megas. That'll do it. It's probably worth in the end, especially if he can actually get himself out. He focused on Jamari instead. Then toss up, a couple of right clicks.
Jamari's got buyback. This is fine.
It's proven to be quite janky by himself. But not tanky enough. It's going to come right back. Also going to have the Grimstroke. They have like creeps on the side. Chen really struggling to deal with the normal creeps right now. Let alone Megas coming in soon, so...
That is a really big play from Odd there. Really good use of the map, and you can't even blame Thunder for that because it takes so long to try and shove these lanes out that they would have lost the Roche if they didn't fight it, but because they fight the Roche, they lose the Megas.
They still lost the Aegis anyway. I mean, they have the cheese, they have the refresher on OD's backpack, but it's not going to be enough to counter X or win the game outright.
They're going for tier 4s, there's no Sven. No, there's no Sven.
Now, Lifestealer coming in. Coming back here, Soulbind, 2 BKBs to protect them for now. There's a duel on the Lifestealer, but it's not taking any damage. In fact, Legion Commander gonna die himself, or herself. Frank goes down. They might find Axel here. Matthew trying to punch him to death. And Draken is gonna get some help. The second BKB to toss back defensively, but they're not gonna get what they came here for. They're not getting the tier 4s. They're not getting the Ancient Draken. He's not gonna come away with his life.
That's gotta be game. Morphling is the only one up with buyback. OD is 1,000 gold off his, so it's not coming up anytime soon. Tiny, same thing. Legion doesn't have it for 3 minutes. They're just gonna march down.
Chen has it by 20 gold. Yay. No, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
This is an impossible hold. Yeah, they get the Phoenix. He doesn't have Egg, but you don't need Egg to win this fight. It's 2 heroes against 4.
I mean, that play was a play that I had to attempt, but it just wasn't enough. Even with the spam on the sidelines for another 30 seconds or something. Atun, he's still trying though. BKB's up, but they're just focusing on the Ancient. It goes down. GG, well played. Game number 1 goes to Team Odd.
Yeah, really good attempt at a hold there from Thunder Predator, but just I got to give it up to Odd there. The movements, their movements around the map were really good. I really liked when they corrected their course. They realized, wait, we just keep getting split bottom. We still have the other T2s up. Let's just swing in through bottom if they want to trade T2 for their tier 3. Let's do it. Let's force them onto the high ground. And the second they made that adjustment, the game was always in their favor from that moment on.
Yep. Certainly. And just look at the graphs. This is what we've been talking about at the beginning of the broadcast. SA Dota, so much back and forth and all these graphs, no big advantage until the very end of this game, and it's certainly entertaining for us and well, hopefully for you guys as well. We're gonna go into game 2 soon, so don't go too far away.